Every night, something extraordinary happens inside your head. You don't feel it, you don't see it, and most people have absolutely no idea it's taking place. While you're asleep, your brain begins a massive cleanup operation. Damaged cells are repaired, waste products are removed, memories are sorted and stored. Billions of neurons work through the night preparing you for the next day. But here's the problem. After the age of 60, this process doesn't work the way it once did. The cleanup becomes slower, the repair becomes less efficient, and over time, the effects start showing up in ways many people know all too well. Walking into a room and forgetting why, struggling to remember names, feeling mentally slower than before, experiencing moments of brain fog that seem to come from nowhere. Most people assume this is simply aging. But scientists are beginning to understand something fascinating. Many of the changes we associate with brain aging may actually be linked to systems that are no longer receiving the support they need. And surprisingly, some of that support may come from ordinary foods eaten during a very specific window of time, the final hours before sleep. Now, before we go any further, let's clear up a common misconception. Your brain doesn't shut off when you sleep. In fact, some of its most important work happens after you close your eyes. Researchers have discovered a network called the glymphatic system. Think of it as the brain's nighttime sanitation department. Throughout the day, your brain produces waste products as a natural consequence of being active. At night, the glymphatic system helps remove much of that waste. The better this system functions, the better the brain can maintain itself. The challenge is that this system depends heavily on high-quality sleep. And after 60, several factors begin working against it. Deep sleep decreases, melatonin production falls, inflammation increases, and the tiny power generators inside brain cells begin accumulating damage. That's why researchers are paying closer attention to foods that may support these repair processes. Not miracle cures, not anti-aging fantasies, just foods that appear to work alongside the brain's natural maintenance systems. Today we're exploring 3 fruits that have attracted significant scientific attention for exactly that reason. One appears to support cellular cleanup, one appears to support memory pathways, and one may help improve the quality of sleep itself. Let's start with the fruit that surprised researchers the most, because what happens after eating pomegranate has almost nothing to do with the fruit itself, and everything to do with what your gut turns it into. Imagine for a moment that scientists discovered a way to help aging cells identify damaged power generators, remove them, and replace them with healthier ones. Most people would assume it was a pharmaceutical breakthrough, a cutting-edge therapy, something available only through specialists and expensive clinics. But what if part of that process could begin with a fruit sitting in your grocery store? That's where the story of pomegranate becomes fascinating. And surprisingly, the most important part of the story doesn't start in your brain. It starts in your gut. The hidden problem inside aging cells. Every cell in your body depends on structures called mitochondria. These tiny structures generate the energy required for life. Your muscles need them, your heart needs them, and your brain depends on them more than almost any other organ. The challenge is that mitochondria don't last forever. As the years pass, some become damaged, less efficient, less productive, and sometimes they begin creating more problems than solutions. Scientists now believe that the accumulation of damaged mitochondria may contribute to many of the changes associated with aging, including changes inside the brain. But the body has a built-in solution, a process called mitophagy. Think of it as cellular housekeeping. Its job is simple: find damaged mitochondria, remove them, and make room for healthier replacements. When this system works well, cells remain more efficient. When it slows down, cellular clutter begins accumulating. The surprising journey of a pomegranate. Now here's where things get interesting. Pomegranates contain natural compounds called elagitannins. At first glance, they don't seem particularly extraordinary. But once they reach the digestive system, something remarkable happens. certain beneficial gut bacteria begin transforming these compounds into a completely different molecule, a molecule called urolithin A. And over the last few years, urolithin A has become one of the most talked about compounds in longevity research. Why? Because researchers discovered it appears to interact with pathways involved in mitochondrial quality control. In simple terms, it may help support the body's ability to clean up worn-out cellular machinery. Why your gut is the real star. This is one of the most fascinating lessons in modern nutrition. Sometimes the food itself isn't the final product. Sometimes your gut microbiome finishes the job. Without the right bacteria, the conversion to urolithin A may be limited. With a healthier microbiome, the process becomes much more efficient. That's why many scientists now see gut health and brain health as deeply connected. The bacteria living inside your digestive system may influence far more than digestion. They may influence how effectively your body extracts value from certain foods. The nighttime connection. Here's the part that makes this especially interesting. The conversion from pomegranate compounds to urolithin A doesn't happen immediately. It unfolds gradually over several hours. Now think about what happens during those same hours. You fall asleep. Your brain begins its nightly repair cycle. The glymphatic system becomes active. Cellular maintenance increases. Waste removal accelerates. In other words, the timing naturally overlaps with the period when the brain is already focused on repair. Researchers are increasingly interested in whether this creates a supportive environment for healthy aging. A simple way to use it. You don't need complicated protocols. Most people can simply aim for half to 1 pomegranate worth of seeds or a small glass of pure pomegranate juice with no added sugar. Some people pair it with a handful of walnuts or almonds as a light evening snack. Simple, practical, and easy to incorporate into an existing routine. But pomegranate only addresses one side of the equation. Cleaning up damaged cellular machinery is important. Yet a healthy brain also needs the ability to learn, adapt, and form new memories. And that's where the next fruit enters the story. Because blueberries appear to interact with one of the most important molecules involved in memory itself. If pomegranate is the story of cellular cleanup, blueberries are the story of memory. And not just memory in the way most people think about it. Not simply remembering where you left your keys. Not remembering a phone number. We're talking about the brain's ability to create, strengthen, and preserve the neural connections that allow learning itself to happen. Because here's something most people never hear. Memory isn't stored in a single location. Every memory you have exists as a network of connections between brain cells. And those connections are constantly being strengthened, weakened, rebuilt, and reorganized throughout your life. The process never completely stops. Even after 60, even after 70, even after 80, the brain remains far more adaptable than many people realize. The molecule that helps the brain adapt. Scientists have spent years studying a remarkable molecule called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. It's one of the most important compounds involved in brain plasticity. Think of BDNF as a growth signal, a maintenance signal, a message telling brain cells, stay healthy, build stronger connections, keep learning. The challenge is that BDNF levels often decline with age. And when that happens, learning may become more difficult, memory formation may become less efficient, and the brain's ability to adapt can gradually weaken. This is one reason researchers are so interested in foods that appear to support BDNF-related pathways. Why blueberries keep appearing in research. Blueberries contain powerful plant compounds known as anthocyanins. These compounds give blueberries their deep blue color. But their importance goes far beyond appearance. Anthocyanins belong to a family of compounds called flavonoids, and flavonoids have one particularly interesting ability. Some can cross the blood-brain barrier. That means they can directly interact with tissues inside the brain itself. Few dietary compounds receive this level of attention from neuroscientists, but anthocyanins continue showing up in study after study. What happens after you eat them? Once absorbed, anthocyanins appear to influence several systems connected to cognitive performance. Researchers have investigated their relationship with memory formation, learning, neural communication, blood flow to the brain, oxidative stress. While scientists are still uncovering the full picture, many studies have reported improvements in cognitive performance among older adults consuming anthocyanin-rich foods. And that's where the story becomes especially interesting, because blueberries don't appear to work through a single pathway. They appear to influence multiple systems simultaneously. The blood flow connection. Imagine trying to run a city while limiting the flow of electricity, fuel, and supplies. Everything becomes less efficient. The brain faces a similar challenge when circulation declines. Healthy blood flow delivers oxygen and nutrients to active brain regions. Without it, even healthy neurons may struggle to perform at their best. Research suggests that flavonoid-rich foods may support cerebral circulation. In simple terms, they may help create a better environment for the brain to do its work. Why evening timing matters. Now let's connect this back to sleep, because sleep is where many memories are strengthened. Throughout the night, the brain reviews information collected during the day. Some memories are reinforced, others are discarded. Connections are reorganized, patterns are recognized. It's one of the reasons sleep is so critical for learning. Anthocyanins continue circulating for hours after consumption. That means eating blueberries during the evening may provide supportive compounds during the same window when memory consolidation is actively taking place. Again, this isn't magic, it's timing, supporting the brain while it's already performing one of its most important jobs, a simple evening serving. Most studies examining blueberries use amounts roughly equal to half a cup to 1 full cup daily. Fresh blueberries work wonderfully. Frozen blueberries work just as well. And because they're often frozen shortly after harvesting, they can retain impressive nutritional value. Many people enjoy them with plain Greek yogurt, in a smoothie, with oatmeal, or simply by themselves. Simple foods, powerful science. But even the healthiest memory pathways depend on something else, because the brain cannot perform its repair work efficiently if sleep itself is compromised. And that's exactly why the third fruit on our list may be the most surprising of all. Because kiwi isn't primarily about memory, it's about creating the conditions that allow memory repair to happen in the first place. If pomegranate helps support cellular cleanup and blueberries help support memory pathways, then kiwi may be the fruit that makes both of those processes work more effectively. Because none of the brain's repair systems function at their best without one critical ingredient: deep sleep. And that's where the story gets really interesting. The most underrated brain repair tool. Ask most people what protects the brain as they age, and you'll hear the usual answers: exercise, healthy eating, mental stimulation, maybe supplements. Rarely does anyone mention sleep. Yet modern neuroscience keeps pointing to the same conclusion. Sleep isn't simply rest. It's repair. It's maintenance. It's recovery. And after the age of 60, many people begin getting less of the type of sleep their brains need most. What changes after 60? One of the biggest shifts involves melatonin. Melatonin is the hormone that helps regulate your sleep-wake cycle. When you're younger, melatonin production rises naturally in the evening, helping prepare your body for sleep. But as the years pass, that process often becomes less efficient. The result? Many older adults experience difficulty falling asleep, more frequent awakenings, lighter sleep, less deep restorative sleep. And here's the important part. The brain's major repair work happens during those deeper stages of sleep. When deep sleep decreases, the brain loses some of the time it normally uses for maintenance. The brain's night shift. Imagine a large office building. During the day, thousands of people move through it. Work gets done. Supplies are used, waste accumulates. Now imagine what would happen if the cleaning crew stopped showing up every night. At first, the change might be subtle, but over time, clutter would build. Maintenance issues would multiply. Efficiency would decline. Researchers often use a similar concept when discussing the glymphatic system. This system becomes most active during deep sleep. It's responsible for helping remove metabolic waste products that accumulate inside the brain. The better your sleep, the more effectively this process appears to function. Why kiwi stands out. Kiwi fruit contains a surprisingly unique combination of compounds, including naturally occurring serotonin, small amounts of melatonin, tryptophan, antioxidants, vitamin C, various phytonutrients. At first glance, these may seem unrelated, but together they form a combination that researchers believe may help support sleep quality. And that's exactly what several studies have investigated. What researchers found. When scientists began examining kiwi consumption before bedtime, they noticed something intriguing. Participants often reported falling asleep faster, sleeping longer, experiencing fewer nighttime awakenings, feeling more rested in the morning. Now, kiwi isn't a sleeping pill, and it's not a cure for insomnia, but researchers believe its unique nutritional profile may help create conditions that support healthier sleep patterns. And healthier sleep means a better opportunity for overnight brain repair. The hidden link between sleep and memory. Most people think memory is created while they're awake, but part of the process actually happens while they're asleep. Throughout the night, the brain reviews information gathered during the day. Important memories are strengthened. New neural connections are reinforced. Patterns are organized. Learning becomes more permanent. Without sufficient sleep, this process becomes less efficient. That's why sleep quality often influences memory just as much as study habits or mental exercises. A practical evening habit. Most sleep-related studies involving kiwi used 2 medium kiwi fruits, approximately 1 hour before bedtime. Nothing complicated, no special preparation, no expensive ingredients, just 2 kiwis as part of a consistent evening routine. Simple habits are often the ones people actually maintain, and consistency is where long-term benefits are built. Now we've explored all 3 fruits, pomegranate, blueberries, and kiwi. So after everything we've explored, what is the real lesson here? Is it that pomegranates are magical? That blueberries can stop aging? Or that eating 2 kiwis before bed guarantees perfect memory? Of course not. The real lesson is much more powerful than that, because it changes the way we think about the aging brain itself. The brain is not a passive organ. For decades, many people viewed brain aging as something that simply happened. A slow, unavoidable decline. A one-way road with no exits. But modern neuroscience tells a different story. The brain is active, adaptive, responsive, even later in life. Every single day, your brain reacts to the environment you create for it. What you eat, how you sleep, how you move, how much stress you carry, and perhaps most importantly, what happens during those critical overnight hours when the brain is busy repairing itself. 3 fruits, 3 different jobs. When you look at the research, something interesting emerges. Each fruit appears to support a different part of the brain health equation. Pomegranate may help support cellular housekeeping and mitochondrial quality control through compounds produced by the gut microbiome. Blueberries provide anthocyanins that appear to support memory-related pathways, healthy circulation, and neuronal communication. Kiwi fruit may help support sleep quality, giving the brain more opportunity to perform the repair processes that occur overnight. Individually, each fruit is interesting. Together, they create a much bigger story. A story about supporting the systems the brain already uses to maintain itself. Why timing matters. One of the most fascinating discoveries in modern health research isn't just about what we eat, it's about when we eat it. The final hours before sleep represent a unique biological window, a transition period between activity and recovery, between information gathering and memory consolidation, between cellular wear and cellular repair. The foods consumed during this window may influence the environment in which those overnight processes occur. That's why researchers have become increasingly interested in evening nutrition strategies. Not because food works like medicine, but because biology operates on timing. The power of consistency. Here's where many people get stuck. They hear information like this and immediately search for dramatic results. A quick fix, an instant transformation, a shortcut. But the brain doesn't usually respond to shortcuts. It responds to patterns, repeated signals, small actions performed consistently over time. A healthy evening routine tonight, another tomorrow, then another, and another. Those choices accumulate, just as poor habits accumulate. The difference is that one path supports resilience while the other slowly works against it. A simple evening framework. If you'd like to put this into practice, it doesn't need to be complicated. You might choose a serving of pomegranate during the evening, half a cup to a cup of blueberries after dinner, 2 kiwi fruits about an hour before bed. You don't need all 3 every night. You don't need perfection. You simply need consistency. And perhaps even more importantly, pair those foods with habits that support sleep itself, because sleep remains the foundation upon which all of these benefits depend. The question worth asking: imagine yourself 5 years from now. What kind of relationship do you want with your brain? Do you want to feel mentally sharp, confident, capable of learning new things, able to enjoy conversations, memories, books, hobbies, and experiences with clarity? If the answer is yes, then brain health isn't something to think about later. It's something to invest in now. One evening at a time, one habit at a time, one choice at a time. Before you go, I'm curious about something. Which of these 3 fruits surprised you the most? Was it pomegranate and its connection to cellular cleanup? Blueberries and their relationship with memory pathways? Kiwi and its surprising impact on sleep quality? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're watching from somewhere around the world, tell us where you're joining from. It's always fascinating to see how global this community has become. If you enjoyed this video and want more science-backed insights on healthy aging, longevity, sleep, memory, and brain health, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. And if you know someone who worries about memory loss, brain fog, or staying mentally sharp as they age, consider sharing this video with them. Sometimes one small piece of information can inspire a completely different approach to health. Important disclaimer: this video is intended for educational purposes only. It is not medical advice and should not replace guidance from your physician or qualified healthcare professional. Always consult your healthcare provider before making significant dietary or lifestyle changes, particularly if you have medical conditions, take medications, or have concerns about sleep or cognitive health. No food, supplement, or routine can guarantee prevention or treatment of Alzheimer's disease, dementia, or other neurological conditions. Healthy aging is the result of many factors working together over time. Thank you for spending these moments with us. Take care of your sleep, take care of your brain, and we'll see you in the next video.